Also tonight. Hello. First tonight, police searching for a missing university lecturer have found human remains buried in the garden of his house.
70-year-old Samuel Alexander went missing in August. On Tuesday, officers began searching his home in Drayton Parslow near Milton Keynes. This morning, they announced their gruesome discovery. Faye Southwell is in Drayton Parslow now. Faye.
Susie, let me paint you a picture of Drayton Parslow. It's a tiny village in Buckinghamshire of just several hundred houses. There's no village shop, but there is a village school and one pub. So you can imagine the shock of local people to find out that their village is the centre of a major police murder investigation. The police became involved last week after neighbours reported that they hadn't seen Mr Alexander since last August. Officers entered the house, but there was no sign of a struggle and no weapons were found. However, they still suspected foul play and decided to dig up the garden. Yesterday and today they've been excavating an area of paving with a pneumatic drill. And this morning, Thames Valley Police confirmed that human remains have been found in the garden of this house.
What do we know about Samuel Alexander, Faye?
Well, I've been speaking to most of Mr Alexander's neighbours here on the estate, and they all say that he was an intensely private man. They only ever really saw him when he was working outside in his garden. He'd lived at the house here for 20 years. He's 70 years old, a former university lecturer, and he's originally from Egypt. In fact, he has another name, Sami Yaqub El Yaqoubi. As I say, he'd lived here for 20 years with his son before his son went away to university. And of course, it's this house now which is sealed off as a crime scene.
So what happens now?
Well, a 22-year-old man has been arrested. He's been arrested on suspicion of murder and is in police custody. Officers have until midnight tonight to decide whether to continue to hold him. Meanwhile, further forensic tests will be carried out on those human remains to confirm the identity of the dead person. And police are also hoping to establish, if they can, exactly when and how that person died.
Faye, thank you very much.
A jury has been told the health of a woman was destroyed by pills bought from a Chinese medicine shop in Essex. It's claimed they cause kidney failure and cancer. 2 people are on trial at the Old Bailey. Gareth George has been in court.
In Court 7 at the Old Bailey, fine legal minds have been engaged in finely tuned legal argument about medical products, but hidden amidst all the legal jargon, the sad story of a woman from Essex whose health has been destroyed. Patricia Booth was a healthy woman from Chelmsford in her mid-40s, but she was worried about spots on her face, so she sought help from a shop selling Chinese herbal remedies in Molsham Street in Chelmsford, a shop that has subsequently closed. A statement was read to the jury from Patricia Booth's husband, Rodney Booth, and he said she was given several brown paper bags containing herbs. She was told to boil the herbs up and drink the resultant potion, which Mr Booth described as obnoxious and foul-smelling. Mrs Booth asked if there was an alternative, and instead she was sold some pills. And Mr Booth said, had she known there was any risk, she would not have taken them. Her skin cleared up. She actually did stop taking the pills, but she complained that she constantly felt tired and unwell. Eventually, she was taken to Broomfield Hospital in Chelmsford, and doctors there told her that she needed an urgent blood transfusion and that her kidneys had failed. The prosecution alleged that there was a banned substance in those pills, an acid, that caused Patricia Booth's health problems. There are 2 defendants in the dock here. You may be able to see some pictures of them now. 46-year-old Ying Wu, also known as Susan Wu. She faces a charge of poisoning. Alongside her in the dock is 47-year-old Thin Wong, or Patrick Wong. And along with Susan Wu, he's accused of various breaches of the Medicines Act. They both deny the allegations. The trial here is set to continue. And tomorrow, Patricia Booth herself will give evidence via a video link because she's too ill to attend the Old Bailey in person.
Gareth, thank you very much.
More than 800,000 people in Norfolk, Suffolk and Essex are going to get a new out-of-hours doctor's service. BBC Look East has learned that the existing provider, Take Care Now, is in the process of being taken over by a rival company. Alex Dunlop is here. What's the latest, Alex?
Well, Susie, in the last hour we understand that Take Care Now, or TCN, is in advanced discussion with a rival out-of-hours provider, Harmony, about handing over its current contract with two primary care trusts, Yarmouth and Waveney PCT and South West Essex PCT. Now, in effect, Harmony is looking to take over TCN, and that could happen in the next fortnight or so. There are no other players in the frame, so I think it's just a matter of dotting the I's and crossing the T's. Now, of course, you'll remember that TCN was heavily criticised by a coroner last week following the death of David Gray from Cambridgeshire. He was unlawfully killed by a foreign doctor, Dr. Urbani from Germany, who gave the retired GP, a fatal dose of diamorphin. The coroner called it gross negligence, and that is what has ultimately led to where we are now. It's been a pretty rough few weeks for TCN. They're based in Ipswich. Let's just look back at their timeline. Cambridgeshire ended its contract with Take Care Now in December. Suffolk and TCN will officially part company next month. Interestingly, that contract will be taken over by Harmony. And only today, in another part of the country, it was announced that TCN has lost its contract in Worcestershire. So Yarmouth and Waveney and South West Essex look like the last in that stack of cards to fall.
So will people see a difference in the way their out-of-hours are cared for?
Well, we all know how hard-pressed local healthcare budgets are, so it's unlikely that we'll see substantial extra cash going into the sort of care. But I think Harmony, if it takes over TCN, would say it's all about how that cash is handled. In a statement a few minutes ago, they told us that they believe they will be able to provide safe systems, they say, and the right level of support.
And what, briefly, do we know about Harmony?
Well, it's spelt with an I, Harmony with an I, not with a Y. They're a big player in what they call primary urgent healthcare. They've got contracts with more than 20 PCTs. That translates into more than 7 million patients.
Alex, thank you very much.
Well, still to come, paying for homeless